So here we are on West Broadway, facing the east. Ship lamp construction. Looks like they're going to be starting some concrete work in this area. All speculation, but they've been around for a while and they've been sitting here for even longer. So this is it. We're going down Broadway and we're going to figure out what it is that is going to be changing. This building here is very antique in its history. That one is antique in its history, and there was a lot of construction kerfuffle there this year. So across the way is a building that was renovated and cleaned out. We don't know what's going to happen. It may be deconstructed and then rebuilt. But to the north there, the building with the 4 windows going up is Sherbrooke Commons. This, I had the opportunity to meet the architecture and design company that built this structure. And what they did with the construction is they made it 1, 2, 3, and 4 bedroom apartments, plus they had retail on the main ground, and then they had 2 to 3 lower level parking spaces included in that building construction. Shell is now under renovations. It is completely being blocked off and changed up. It looks like they're either getting new pumps or something else is coming into play. The old Nygaard building was taken over by Total Flooring. They have been established there since Nygaard went under a few years ago for his controversial and questionable activities. And I believe he was subpoenaed by the courts and faces jail time. This structure here used to be the Forks Bistro. That house in behind is also attached. Very good friends of mine and our band once played in that establishment. We also partied there like crazy people and had huge bar parties as well. There hasn't been any activity here for a while, and my suspicions are that this is going to come down and the new apartment block is going to be put up. Much like this empty lot, it looks like they're going to be deconstructing this old laundromat, and they're going to be rebuilding and repurposing it for a larger apartment complex with retail on the main level, and likely it's going to be much like this new building going up that started construction just over 8 months ago. This new construction building has been growing quickly and fast in only the last 6 months. It is looks like a 5-story building with retail on the main floor. In recent years, these buildings were renovated. They now occupy law firms. This other building that is also a 5-story building that was built only in the last 3 years, maybe 5 years tops. I don't have the exact dates, but yes, it has been done. And the construction continues. As you can see, Sherbrooke Commons is going to be a new development section in the West Broadway area. This is fairly new. This building was renovated. They did add on to it, and then they gave it a new paint job on the facade. And it looks like it's a type of clinic. Now, clinic was established on Arlington and Portage, and I believe the commissionaire's new head office is located in their old building. This structure also in the last 5 to 7 years was built, and here there only used to be a parking lot and some old buildings. This has changed over the years, and this is on the east side of Sherbrooke Commons. This here is Sherbrooke on the west side between Sarah, and I believe Westminster. The old buildings on this area in Old Winnipeg were only houses, very large houses at that, but some of these have been repurposed into businesses and been remodeled, redesigned, and now are operating as businesses, independent businesses, which is much like the independent business that started down on Sherbrooke many years ago. That sky crane you're looking at right now is the new old nurses building school. This has been under construction for the last 3 years. What its main purpose is, I believe, is going to be with the nurses again. So we'll take a closer look at it and its construction. Some of the old buildings, the way they were designed quite authentically. And it's nice to see that some of them have been restored to their original form. Just on those other corners on Maryland, those are 2 brand new buildings built in the last 5 to 10 years. This one in front is actually the last 3 years. The uniform shop for the real heroes in this pandemic, the nurses' shop. This building has been remodeled and looks pretty sharp. That is part of the construction, and it looks like there's going to be a few more stories to be put on this building. As for its immediate purpose, it isn't known, but it was where the old registered nurses' school was. Another remodel of this building. A cute ambience to the decadence, the barber shop and the coffee shop. All restored buildings and are doing quite well to my knowledge. And on its facade, the building continues to grow. A lot of murals you will find across Winnipeg indicating old style buildings and businesses. So it is revealed it will be independence assisted living at this new building, opening in 2023. I guess they are close to the end of their rooftop construction. Assisted living is going to have a direct access over the roads to the hospital behind us, most of which is dedicated to eye surgery and operations to do with the retinas of the human species. This is Maryland facing north. Looks like the kids are just getting out of school, so I'm going to have to restrict my videotaping to the buildings only. So I'm going to be doing rooftop evaluations on this. As you can see, this is another new building here that was put up in the last 5 years. This is the Center of Christian Studies, but it also invites the LGBTQ on and on and on community as well. More of the same on Maryland. These are the old businesses and residents on Maryland at its day and age. This building here had its roof removed and a new floor put on top of it. I remember that correctly. As you can see, this building was constructed in the last 5 years. I have a back view of it from Sherbrooke, but this is the front view. And they also have underground parking. And only difference is that it's all residential. It has no retail. Across the way from it is another new building, several new buildings that were produced and built in the last 5 years on Maryland at Westminster. And construction of the new active living center at the Misericordia. That church bell rings and tolls every day at noon. It also is the graduation hub for most police officers in Winnipeg. I do believe some of my own family were graduates from their ceremony at this church. And the bell tolls for thee. tolls for thee. You don't see construction like this anymore. The steeples are never built in modern day society anymore. Just smile. These are also two new buildings that have been constructed in the last 5 to 10 years. What you're seeing in the background there is the Wosley district, just west of Maryland Street. And of course there's still our steeple church. I am going to surmise that if these houses are not kept up, they're going to be bought up and new residential facilities will be built, also with retail in mind, on the main floor, underground parking. I would also like to point out that Winnipeg alone, with its beautiful, huge elm tree population and districts, which are most of downtown complemented by them, Winnipeg's been working with Earth for a long time, and hopefully they'll continue the trend, because these trees bring us a healthy and very prevalent air supply, and also cleaning the pollution that exists. And we also have beautiful murals of new immigrants that have come to live in the peace and tranquility of Winnipeg, Manitoba. In closing, I just wanted to say that the two buildings in the background here are recently built and designed in the last 5 years. As for the school, Gordon Bell, I believe there was only one member of my family that attended the school here. And that building was where we started. That is called Sherbrooke Comman. So the area that I just went around is in a 2-block radius of Maryland and Sherbrooke. And that is just the minimal amount of construction going on in such a small area. Most buildings are going 5 or high, with retail on the main floor and underground parking. There's a lot of history in this church. It was a Lutheran church, burnt down in somewhat 20 years ago or more, and has been rebuilt and restructured and refigured for a community center, where a lot of politics and local influence happens. So the construction continues and will continue into the future. Just watching YouTube today, came across a content creator indicating that Mr. Trudeau plans on immigration to exceed 500,000 every year until 2025. So, welcome home and welcome back. This is Up in Canada. I'm your host, Dominic Raphael. So cheers. So in final closing, this building here actually